Tom Clark's Main Event is a Boink Studios production. And now, on with the show.
This is Daddy's show. Step off.
Hey, what is up? Welcome back to the program, folks. Thank you for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Clark, and this right here is the one and only Tom Clark's Main Event. What's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. I'm going to time that intro so right as we pop in from black, it's going to be perfect. One day I'll hit it. I've been trying for years. I'm not quite there yet. I'm either too soon or I'm way too late. I don't know what else to say. Happy Friday to you. I hope you guys are doing great. How's your week been? Oh, man, is there stuff to talk about for me this week? But I can't tell none of you. There's stuff maybe in the works for yours truly. I don't know. I mean, there is. Whether or not it's going to happen, I don't know. I'm going to be very vague because I have to be. Before we go any further, hit that like button for me, kids. Hit this thing for me. Hit it so hard you break it. And then share the feed. We're nothing if not attention hounds up in here, okay? So share the devil out of this thing, all right? Hit the like button. And by the way, turn on the notification bell so that way the next time your boy goes live, you'll know it. I got a haircut this week. And every time I get a haircut, I'm thinking, what are you thinking? You're getting older. Just let it grow. Like I got friends who are like younger than me who are losing their hair. And I'm happy to say, bam, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. So just let it grow. I got more gray in my beard than I do my hair. I'm contemplating doing something about that. And I'm being advised it's a terrible idea by professionals who are like, for God's sake, don't do it. You're going to regret it. It's my face. It's my hair. Why can't I just do what I want? Don't live my life for me. By the way, we got a special guest here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody Rhodes. Cody. He's not ready to come on yet. He's thinking about it. He hasn't committed. We've been trying to call him. He's ghosting us. That's two weeks in a row I've done that joke. I'm not going to stop because it's too much fun. I don't even care. Let's say hello before we bring our real actual special guest on. Chris Sims, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. What's up, Shannon? Gene, how are you today? Welcome back to the show. Reggie, what's going on, my friend? Josh McManus, how are you, sir? Alicia D. Byers-Brown, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Oh, come on, Shane. There he is. Sugar Shane Odom, what's going on? Will, good to see you, dude. Don't anybody be hitting me with stuff. It's too early. CRP Chris Patton in a work meeting, but wanted to say hey and send my love. Oh, dude, you're the best. You're awesome. Dude, turn us up on your speaker and just hold that phone up. Be proud of it. Just do this. Just do it. Like, what's the movie when you got the boom box? I'm showing my age. So, yeah, just do that, man. I'll be yelling at everybody for you. You tell me when you do it, and I'll just start yelling. In other words, I'll just use my normal speaking voice. David Down Under, how are you here we are, in the lovely land of Australia. Good to see you, my friend. Matthew Plummer, how are you doing, my friend? Happy Friday to you, sir. Mark Gray, what's going on? Double V Victor Vasquez, I'll get it out. Rebecca, how are you doing? This one's CRC. We got a CRP and a CRC. Good God. Hola, E. How are you doing, my friend? Belinda, welcome back to the show. We got all our regulars. This is awesome. Shree, how you doing? Doing good, man. Doing good. Miss, how about you? Robbie, what's going on? You young guy with his pulse on what's cracking. Yeah, okay. I appreciate you. Air Jackson in the house. What's up, Air? How you doing, my friend? You hang around this show long enough, brother. You're gonna get a nickname. Ask Jumpin' Jeff Sharma, he'll tell you. Huh? What's up, Tim? How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. He's going to be at Dynamite and Rampage next week. Oh, dude, picks or it didn't happen. Sandy in Germany. Guten Tag to you, my friend. How's life in Germany today there, Sandy? How's the weather over there? I mean, it doesn't change my existence one way or the other, but I'm being nice. That was kind of creepy, wasn't it? Before we bring our guest on, she insists that you hit the like button. She won't come on without it. So hit the like button and share the crap out of this feedback. Put it everywhere you know. You know that friend that hates pro wrestling and hate when you ran about it? Share it to him. You know the friend that loves pro wrestling but hates when you ran about it? Share it to him. Put it everywhere, man. I'm not doing anything. I'll chain myself to this microphone, okay, until you do it. They'll have to drag me kicking and screaming away from this thing. Please hit the like and share button. I appreciate it. Now that we're done entertaining everyone, at least for the next few minutes, let's bring on our guest. She is the co-host. You know her, you love her. Co-hostess with the mostest of Peaches and Powerbombs, one Tina Miller. Tina, welcome back to the main event. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, Tom. Hey, everybody. It's great to be here.
Yes. Kids, you remember Tina. Tina, you remember the kids. Kids, please make Tina feel welcome. Make her feel at home. So there you go. Let's get the things happening in the background here. We've got so much to talk about. Oh my God. We've got so much to talk about. I can't wait to get into it. I know you're ready. You've been talking about it all week. I've intentionally not watched any of your stuff this week. I know you went live the other night. I intentionally didn't listen to it because I want to get, I don't want to go into this knowing anything. I mean, I know a little bit, but I mean, I want to go into this just fresh from the ground up. So we're going to get there. If in case you guys didn't know about Peaches and Powerbombs, Tina, take a minute and tell the kids out there all about the show, where they can find it, who's on it, and everything that goes along with it.
Well, my co-host and I, Sarah Hirsch, we go live probably about every other Tuesday or Thursday, depending on, because, you know, schedules and stuff. So we bounce between Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we usually go live on our Facebook page at Peaches and Powerbombs. And we just started going live on our YouTube channel too. And so we do live shows where we just cover the basic news and talk about, you know, just random things in wrestling and, you know, just giving that female perspective, you know, and how we feel about things. So we enjoy doing that. And we also have videos that we put up once a month called Pro Wrestling in Storybook Style, where we take different pro wrestling storylines and we read it like it's a children's storybook. So we have a few up there on Hangman Adam Page and MJF. So go and check those out. Were a lot of fun to make. So
that's so cool that you're still doing that. I haven't watched any in a while, but I'm glad you're still. I love things that are different. You know what I mean? So I'm all about that. That's pretty cool. Have you got any in the pipeline that you're working on, or anyone that you haven't done yet that you really want to do?
Well, of course, now after everything that's happened, I kind of have to do one on Eddie Kingston soon, right? So
yes, that's a must.
yeah.
Thank you everyone for being cordial and for being welcoming. I love you guys. You guys are the best. We're at 29. Hit someone, get me to 30 and beyond. Isaiah Dawson, welcome to the show. I didn't get to say hello to you. Chris Aldridge, how you doing? I saw Chad Too Bad show up somewhere. Chad Too Bad, hope you're doing well, my friend. Listen, we're here. We're here to do something very important today, and that's to shill Tom's stuff. We're only going to do it for a second. Relax. tinyurl.com/TomCartPods. We got a shop up on Redbubble. Go get you. Look, I mean, come on, man. What? Come on, make it happen. Do we have Peaches and Powerbombs gear there, Tina? And where can they get it? What are you waiting on?
No, just a little bit more exposure, I guess. We're still a very small podcast, so we feel like we just have, you know, we just need to get a little bit more out there before we take that leap. So,
well, I tell you what, next time you go to meet somebody, not that you should be, you know, pushing yourself and upsetting anyone, but hey, you get someone on videos saying, hey, this is Tina, you need to watch Peaches and Powerbombs. Oh my goodness, that would help tremendously. So
I'm sure.
I'm just saying. All right, kids, here's the main reason we're here today. If you showed up thinking that you weren't going to get a Revolution review, man, did you show up at the wrong place at the wrong time? We've got, if anyone didn't see the show, it just ended like yesterday. It lasted like 3.5 days. It was a 3.5 hour card. It was massive. You must have been exhausted. But I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't awesome because I really enjoyed this show. But give me your overall opinion of this entire show before we go through the results here. Were you tired at the end of it, or how'd it go for you?
I was actually very stimulated at the end because this was my very first live pay-per-view. I had never been to one before. So I was just so excited to be there. I almost didn't want the night to end. And it took me a long time to go to bed that night. So, but I was kind of emotionally exhausted by the end of the first match. I'm gonna be honest. I was like,
I'm sure.
spent almost and sat down for the second match, and then I was right back up after that one. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
That's
It
awesome.
won't be my last, that's for sure.
Oh no, once you go, it's like getting a fix. Like you have to go back.
Yeah.
I've been to a few AEW shows now, and and you've been to WWE shows. It's a different vibe, isn't it? It's a different
Yeah.
crowd. It's a different
Yeah.
feel. I say that to people, they look at me like I'm crazy, but it's not even the same fans, it feels like.
No, and it's even different from just your regular ho-hum Dynamite too. So I don't know. I think it's just because everybody's just invested so much in order to be there. That they're just so excited, and there's just so much more energy.
I agree. Eric, what's up, my friend? Asking about who the co-host is. This is Tina Miller from Peaches and Powerbombs. Everyone, please take a moment, go share this feed, and while you're sharing the feed, go like their page and follow their podcast. They're doing some good work over there. So let's go through this, and let's talk about. And I'm not going to go match by match with you. We'll
Okay.
run down the card, and then we'll go back and talk about what everyone liked, what they didn't like. I'll tell you this. The pre-show was great. Like the buy-in was after the end of I'm like, man, that was an episode of Dynamite right there, just about. Man, it was so good, just the pre-show. I mean, you have to know that when the buy-in is that good, you're like, yeah, wow, dude. I mean, that set the tone, didn't it? I mean, we had Layla Hirsch defeated Chris Statlander, Hook defeated QT Marshall. The House O Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews defeated Pac, Penta Obscura, and Eric Redbeard. And then, of course, that's your pre-show right there. That right there is a great show. What about that? Kicking the show off the way they did, that must have got you guys pumped and ready to go, didn't it?
Well, we were still trying to get up to our seats during the first match, so we did miss Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander, unfortunately. But I think we walked right in when Don Callis was doing punked everybody out, thinking that Kenny Omega showed up. So that's about when we walked in. But the Malachi Black and and the Penta match got me and my dad all hyped up. So
That's
yeah,
cool.
it was pretty exciting.
What's your take on the Alex Abrahantes gimmick with the robe and the painted face? Part of me says, don't worry about the other guys. But the other part of me says, if this was done in that other company, people would hate it. So why does it work here for you? And if it doesn't, why?
I don't really know. I don't know too much about the Dark Penta character and all of that kind of stuff because I'm new to all of these people because I didn't get to watch Lucha Libre or anything like that. So it's all new to me. So I'm just trying to give everything a chance before I actually give it an opinion. So I don't know. I liked the Lucha Brothers a whole lot, and I like the Cerro Miedo stuff. So, but I'm just trying to give it a chance right now. It looks a little silly to me, but I'm trying to give it a chance.
Best answer is that I'm not sure about it, but I'm going to see what happens. That's the best answer. I don't know if that answer applies to everything in wrestling because certain things you do give certain things so many chances, and that certain thing continues to upset you. But with something like this, I think it's a great answer. And there's no wrong answer, right? But the idea of, I don't know about this, but because I don't know about it, I won't pass judgment. I'm going to see how I feel later. I wish everyone could take that. So basically, Penta ran a gimmick in Lucha Underground. I'm trying to remember what they called it. Penta El Zero, I think, or Pentagon Dark, Penta Dark, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And or Pentagon Black, whatever it was that they and I guess he can't use that here, I'm supposing. So they just did a play on it, calling Penta Obscura. So Christopher Wilson saying, check out Lucha Underground when Penta and Phoenix. He's right. If you ever get to watch any Lucha Underground, and I know MLW is bringing it back and using it here and there, but the original Lucha Underground is different. It's a little bizarre. It's not a typical pro wrestling show, but that's one of the reasons I really liked it. I thought they did some good work. Let's kick off the regular card here, kids. because I know you've got a lot to say about this, about the first match. Eddie Kingston getting what was advertised to be his first big win. And I will say this, one of the things that struck me was at the end of this match when he goes straight to the corner to put his hand out and you see Chris tell him something. This is no disrespect to Eddie at all because I love Eddie, but Chris has that timing that you can only learn working for another company, and he's got years of timing. So like it almost, I don't know what he said to him, but my guess would be it's like, back up, wait a second, like let it milk and then come in, because you could hear Eddie shout, I respect you. Like he didn't just come in and shove his hand in his face. Because if Eddie had come in cocky and too ha ha ha, you know what I'm saying? Like it might would have been, wait a minute, I thought this guy was supposed to be face. So kudos to Chris for knowing, wait a minute, ease up, take a minute, take a breath, now come in. And I thought it worked.
Probably feeding off the crowd too and feeling all of that. So it was probably getting to him. So yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Talk to me about this, and let's talk about your fan experience with Kingston. If anyone's not seen the photos, they got to go check them out. Talk to me about this, and how was it for you meeting Eddie in person?
Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say that before I met Eddie, it was kind of a last minute decision because FanFest was just a giant fiasco. It was not organized at all. It was horrible. So, unless you know exactly what you're going in to do, make sure you have if you go to a fan fest, make sure you have it planned out, okay? Because if you don't, you're going to be standing in several lines just to be able to figure out which line you're supposed to be in. So with all that being said, okay, I'm already kind of exhausted from that and annoyed out of my mind. But then when I finally got in the right line, and I'm like 10 people back and I'm holding on to my little paper that they gave me for him to sign. And then the excitement, the nerves, what in the world am I going to say? Okay. Because if anybody watches Peaches and Powerbombs on here, you all know that we should probably just rename the whole podcast to the Eddie Kingston Love Fest. Okay. So, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I was in a really, really bad position probably about 6 or 7 months ago. Really, really dark place. And that's about when Eddie started really being vocal about his own experiences with the same things. So I really wanted to meet Eddie and talk to him about that kind of thing. And I wasn't sure what to expect because you never know if they're going to be kind or anything like that. And so I go up there and he's asking me how I'm doing, and I just kind of go into it all. And he grabs me by my hands and leans in like this and looks me in the eye, and he starts talking to me, and he says, listen, one of the things I want you to know is that there's no such thing as normal. Don't let society and people in your life tell you that there is something wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to battle your own mind every day. And I want you to promise me that you're not going to give up. And then he told me, he said, and I promise you, I'm not going to give up either. So we had a really special moment, and we're still talking. He talked to me for like 10 minutes. And during the whole time, I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm holding up the line. And he looked me in the face and he said, F that line. Sorry, I know no cussing, but he said, F that line. What we're talking about is way more important than professional wrestling. So you forget about what that line. I don't care. And he gave me a big hug, and we talked some more, and then we took our pictures, and I went on my way crying. So it was very emotional.
And this past Wednesday night, and I'm not trying to nail you down specifically, but I'm just going to make this comment of what he said on Dynamite, because he tells Chris that at the fan fest that he had 4 people come up to him and say that they wouldn't be here today without him coming forward. So
I was one of those 4 people.
I didn't want to put you on the spot, but when he said that, I thought about you right off the bat. And Yeah, what a moment. That had to have been,
God.
I mean, of course it was massive for you. So,
Yeah.
um, no, listen, kids, not to rant. We do pro wrestling here, and sometimes I'll go off into live stuff. No matter if you have a faith in whatever, and I'm not discounting any of that. Please don't misunderstand me, but it's connections to people, and we don't. Sometimes people with I have this viewpoint, that viewpoint. That's great, but like you're disregarding everyone around you who maybe could use a word, who maybe could use a handshake or a "Hey man, how are you?" And so what Tina's talking about with Eddie Kingston, like it's important to this guy, like, hey, I'm going to make connections. These people feel what I'm putting out, and it's important to me. And I don't think we do that enough as people, to be honest with you. I think people discount that. So good for him, honestly, for exposing himself and not like a nerve and not being afraid to be himself.
Right.
What a moment. I mean, you're never going to lose that. I mean,
Never.
that's so cool.
Never.
Yeah. And kids, if anyone in the chat, and I'm not asking for admissions or anything like that, but if anyone's ever dealt with anything like that, it's incredibly hard. And if no one's ever been to a dark place in our lives, count yourselves among the lucky, because a lot of us have, and man, it's extremely hard. Cherie with a great comment. That's what wrestling is all about. Connection with each other. Great comment. Let's see. A lot of people really giving kudos here. Really cool. Yeah, we couldn't go any farther today without sharing this. I mean, and I go back to that MJF and Punk thing where, when Punk was kind of digging at him in those promos and saying, for you, that was the best night of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday. Like, I don't think Kingston's that way, like in that storyline, right? But this was a hugely important night for you. It obviously was for him, or he wouldn't have put it in that promo Wednesday.
Absolutely. I don't think he would have spent that much time with me either if it didn't mean anything to him. So
yeah, it's connections with people that a lot of people don't understand it. So he's it's hugely important. And I'm sure that behind the scenes he told Chris 1,000 times, I appreciate you. Thank you for this, because Chris didn't have to do anything. I mean, at Chris Jericho's stage in his career, he's like Babe Ruth. He can call his own shot. It doesn't matter. If he didn't want to put Eddie over, yeah, put him over. And what are they going to do? Say no? You have to put him over? No, of course not. But Chris knew it was the right time.
The mere fact that Chris has to be the physical embodiment of the dark thoughts that those of us like Eddie and myself tell yourself every day, like, you're not good enough. You don't deserve that success that you're about to achieve. So you should just walk away from it. And he has to actually go out there and say those things to someone's face who deals with that all the time. So that has to be a really, really hard job to do. I don't know if I could do it. So kudos to Chris Jericho for that.
Yeah, no kidding. And when the WCW put the Scott Hall alcoholism stuff in a storyline, I'm thinking, what are you doing? This guy's actually dealing with this stuff. Why in the world would you put this out there and just keep the wounds open? Like, let this guy, first of all, send this guy to rehab. Let him get a chance to get clean. Why are you putting this on TV? But yeah, stuff like that where you're mixing, and we've heard for years, and it's the truth to a lot of degree, is that there's nothing better in a storyline than real life. But I don't know, to me, there's layers of it. And when it hits that close to home, where it's not just a physical addiction, but it's mental and it's psychological, that's got to be a dangerous thing to dance around, to be honest. So, man, live. Well, we got a bunch of other card to get here to get to here, kids. Let's talk about this thing. The next match up, and of course, as we said, Eddie got the win, and then we saw the full blown heel turn by Chris on Wednesday night. The Jericho Appreciation Society. We'll get to it.
Real quick before we move on, I just wanted to say that the reason why I traveled all the way down is when we first got wind that they were probably going to do Jericho versus Eddie at Revolution. And it was pretty obvious that this was going to be Eddie's moment, right? And I looked at my dad and I was like, I have to be there for Eddie's first moment. We have to go. And he was like, okay, let's go. So that's how we went. That's how that started.
I mean, it's the best time to go.
Yeah.
And it's a different thing. It's a different reason. But like All Out last year, it was at the minute we knew, it was hinted at, the minute we knew Punk was going, my buddy calls me, said, dude, we're going. Can you get the weekend? I'm like, yes, I can. Let's go. So we went. And it's, you know, you don't want to miss the moments that matter the most to you. Maybe Punk's return didn't matter to some people, but I really wanted to be there. Like you really wanted to be there to see
Right.
Kingston get his moment, you know?
And,
What did you think about them going on first? Do you think the match should have happened later in the card, or did you care?
No, I think this was a perfect way to open the match and give everybody that really strong feel good moment. So I was absolutely happy with this. I thought that Moxley and Danielson would have opened the match, but after knowing what was going to happen at the end of their match, you know, obviously you want to hold that off a little bit. So this was a perfect spot for them, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that. And plus, you get a lot of the emotion out of the way first, and it's not that you're dreading it, you know, because you weren't dreading it, but it's the anticipation of, oh man, here we go. But you get out of the way first, then hopefully the rest of the night you can breathe and relax and have some fun. And yeah. I get that. I totally get that. Let's see, Jurassic Express, 3-way tag team title match for AEW World Tag Team Championships. Of course, defeated Red Dragon and the Young Bucks to retain the titles. Wardlow, you know, and we're going to circle back to Wardlow like crazy here. Wardlow defeated, of course, Christian Cage, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Ricky Starks in a Face of the Revolution ladder match for a future AEW TNT Championship match. Jade Cargill defeated Ty Conti, retaining the TBS Championship. CM Punk, as we said, defeated MJF in a dog collar match. Dr. Britt Baker, and no, I don't have it queued up. I'll hit it in a bit. Retained the AEW Women's World Championship against Thunder Rosa, and John Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson by pinfall. And I'm going to go on for another 2 days. Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting defeated the Andrade Hardy family office. And then, of course, in the main event, Hangman Adam Page retained the AEW World Championship against Adam Cole. I assume your favorite match was Kingston and Jericho. What's your second favorite of the night?
Probably Moxley and Bryan.
It's good stuff. Yeah, I know. So I know you're a wrestling fan, but and not that it's different for a girl, but you're a girl, so I'm going to ask you, how do you feel about all the blood? Does that make you at all? Or are you good with it? Do you care? Do you know what I mean?
It depends on how it's being used. If it makes sense in the match, if it adds to the story, then I'm okay with it. Now the deathmatch stuff, I don't like that at all. I'm a really big empath, so it really kind of triggers and kind of puts me in a really bad spot when I see that kind of stuff. But just like blood in the match, if it makes sense. But the problem with AEW, I think, is that they use blood. They lean on that a little bit too much, and it's like, okay, to me, the three fundamentals of AEW is dives, biting, and blading, and they just need to back off on those three things a little bit. So,
you know, I would say, and I think a lot of fans my age and older would believe that this is them playing to us. I don't know that that's it. I think that they all have the opportunity to do this stuff where they couldn't do it in certain other companies. And they're like, let's just do this. I mean, if the company says we can, let's just do it. But you're right. I think it's, for me personally, is it too much? I mean, I knew color was going to happen in Punk and Friedman, and I knew color was going to happen, but it's like, you know, and I'm sorry, if you're not going to have color, then you shouldn't have a cage match. You shouldn't have a dog collar match. You certainly shouldn't have a hardcore title match, for God's sake. Like, these things make no sense with no color. That's why when the other company does them, I'm like, you just hit the guy in the head with the ladder, but that doesn't cut him, not even accidentally. Come on.
Right.
You know, but I feel you. I'm not a deathmatch guy either. Not to go off on a rant, but like, you know, what's his name from GCW? I'm not a the pizza cutter and all that. You know what I mean? I'm just not. It's not for me.
And I think too many of them bite each other in AEW, and some of them doesn't make any sense. Like MJF is supposed to be the sophisticated, I'm better than you, you're filth. Why are you putting something that's filth in your mouth? I mean, to me, so it makes sense for Eddie Kingston and John Moxley and stuff to bite, but MJF shouldn't be biting people, in my opinion. But
Ron Emerson with a great point. It's so frequent, it's almost desensitizing. Great point.
yeah.
Like it doesn't mean anything. Nick Gage, thank you, Ron. It doesn't mean anything if you see it too much. It's
Right.
like, I was gonna say porn. I don't want to make conversation weird, but it's kind of like the idea of, well, now it doesn't mean anything because it's, you know what I mean? It's almost like, well, now people are desensitized to certain things. But I totally get what you're saying. Yeah, it's I don't know. Different strokes, right, and all that. So I mean, for some people it's too much. For some people it's like, no, give me more. I don't know. I mean, I think the hardcore and deathmatch stuff maybe has its place, but from me, I don't think it should be a promotion that's full time. I mean, again, I'm ranting, right? But I think there's among the many reasons ECW is no longer here. I think and for me, the biggest reason ECW is no longer here is because their audience was this big, and that's fine if that's all you want to do is play to that little audience. But if you want to be this big, then you have to start stretching. You got to start stretching what you're doing. And you take the stuff that plays to this crowd and you keep it, but you put it in a pocket and you don't make the whole promotion, because otherwise you're not going to get mainstream. And it's just not going to happen, you know? So I don't know. That's my comment on that. Wardlow, the turn we knew was going to happen. I loved it. I read many comments after the show that was the loudest pop of the night. Is that the case? Was it the loudest thing that happened?
It was the loudest thing that happened. It was pretty, it was really great.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was sitting down during that. Even my dad got up, and he has arthritis, so he doesn't get up very much, but he was like, oh, here we go. Here it comes. Here it comes.
He's like, help me up. I got to see this.
Right.
What do you think the timing was right? It felt like it was way more than enough time had passed. It was the right time, wasn't it?
Oh, it was the perfect time. It was the perfect time. And this, I don't think that they should have a really big storyline, just something a little bit to go through the summer maybe, and then set MJF to get that world title by the fall. So let's get started.
Yeah, I agree. I've been comparing the Wardlow turn to the Batista turn, and I think it's appropriate. I will say this about, and I was talking to Phil Lindsay last night. Shout out to Phil Lindsay, kids. We did an episode of the 6 a.m. last night, and we were talking about off mic, and I said, I saw his promo Wednesday night, and I, in my view, he nearly lost that crowd. Wardlow was very rehearsed to the point of almost being too bad. Not that he can't talk, but for me personally, I'm like, oh man, you need to stop, dude. This crowd wants you. Don't lose them. But then when he talked about growing up poor and he wanted to do this because he loved it, but also because he wanted to provide a living and provide a better way of life, then he hooked him. But I thought, man, it took a long time to get to that. So it's like, I can see why WWE would want him, because in my opinion, that's the exact promo they would want him to cut. His facials, everything were on point. And I'm not bagging on the guy, but it's almost like I didn't feel that intensity he gets during a match. I didn't feel any of that. So I'm not saying this is doomed. Don't get me wrong, but I wonder long term, is he going to keep elevating, or do you think he'll hit a certain part and can't get above it?
Well, I think that if he definitely wants to be talking more, he needs to work on that a little bit to be able to keep that connection with the fans, because he was starting to lose me too. But I kind of already knew that was one of his weaker points, just because Justin LaBar from Busted Open and the Wrestling Inc. podcast, he managed him when he was first coming up in a really local promotion there in Pittsburgh, I think, and he
Yeah.
said that he couldn't really talk all that well when he first started, but
Mm.
he's getting better. So I'll hope that he continues to get better, because otherwise he's going to lose that crowd.
I agree. And I think he's got his upside is far better than his downside for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Of
curious
course,
to see what happens.
if they just have him only talk when it's necessary, I think that would be okay too. And he just comes out there, destroys people, and goes home.
Yeah.
That'll work
And
too.
let me ask you this. Would you put another mouthpiece with him, but this time a babyface? Do you think Arn's not really doing anything right now? What if you put Arn with him as a mouthpiece?
That's an interesting idea.
I mean,
That's a good idea.
I think it would work short term. I think you would need to elevate him straight to that TNT title if they did decide to do it.
Yeah.
Which everybody believes that Scorpio, and we'll get to Sky here in a second, but like, oh, he's going to lose next week. I'm like, has anyone not been paying attention to this show for the past year? Like, they've built Scorpio to this point. They're getting ready to go to the West Coast. The guy's from LA, I think. He's going to walk into the Forum without that title. Are you kidding? Are we? What? I
And
mean,
do you really think that MJF is not going to retaliate next week?
I knew it was coming, because that's exactly what I said too. Like, why wouldn't he stop Wardlow from winning that title? Come on. It seemed very quiet for Jade and Conti. But I will say, I didn't hear very many people booing at all. I didn't hear anyone booing Jade. As you watch
quiet in my
this,
section.
really?
No,
Wow.
of course, we were a little bit further away from the ring, so you probably didn't hear us. But we were loud the whole night, and we were
Wow.
shouting stuff at the both of them. We were like, "Go Ty, go Ty, go Jade," or whatever it was. So
Depending on
I
who you
didn't hear
ask,
it.
depending on who you ask, Jade's either coming along pretty nicely or she's horrible. So, what's your take on Jade Cargill, in your opinion, at this point? I mean, taking into consideration that she only ever works on TV, there's no house shows for this company. So, like, she claimed on Jericho's podcast that the only ring time she has is on TV, and that blows my mind. But what's your take on all this with her?
I think she's improving a whole lot. I mean, like you said, she can't work out her kinks at house shows and things like that. So she's having to learn everything in front of everyone. So you see all the little bumbles and the mess ups and things, like what happened a couple weeks ago where she forgot to kick out and the referee kind of messed up too. But other than that, um I think she's doing great, and from what I hear, she's training with Brian Danielson, right?
Yes.
So who else, if she can't learn under him, then she can't learn under anybody. And I think she's doing great with with the time that she's been given. And she just smells like money to me. So
Ah, ha, ha. You're going to steal her taglines. I see.
yep.
She said, I'm green like money. There is I was going to use the word fascination, and that sounds like a bad word. There is a desire to really, really put her out there. And I don't know, part of me says, why would you, of all the great wrestling on your show, why would you spotlight people who aren't great wrestlers? Now, it's a variety show, as all good wrestling programs should be. It's a variety show. It's a little something for everybody. But I don't know. And it's nothing personal. It's never been personal with me, with anybody in this business. But I don't know. From where I'm sitting, I'm like, she's gotten better for sure. Is it that she's live TV good 8, 9, 10 minute match? I don't know. That's all in, I guess, your opinion, whoever's opinion, right? What about Eric Red? I had to talk about Eric Redbeard. If they have not offered this guy a contract, shame on them, because man, he's in great shape. That must have been that House of Black match. I got to flip back to the pre-show. That House of Black match must have been a fun match to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun, and it got us in the mood to start the show. So I agree. They should give him a contract too. But
yeah, I love that guy.
It's kind of hard because of how bloated it is right now. I think they should sign more women than men at this point. But
I'd agree with that. And there's a lot of good women on the independent circuit that they've used on Dark and Elevation. So I think there's opportunities there. Speaking of, we'll segue to the next women's match. Britt Baker defeated Thunder Rosa. This really felt like Rosa's night until we find out that next week Dynamite, they're in Rosa's hometown in the steel cage. So, I mean, that's fine. But like, did you think this was Rosa's night, or did you think Baker was going to come out with a W?
I kind of was split 50-50 on it. I was okay with either decision because, Thunder Rosa, they've been building her up for a year now. And, and if they wanted to keep the title a little bit on Britt Baker for a little bit longer, just to give Thunder Rosa a little bit more oomph to the storyline, I was okay with that too. I honestly think that they shouldn't have had a title match. I was kind of hoping that they would have done like the tag team match that they did last week on the pay-per-view and then waited to do the title match at a later date, either in her hometown or at Double or Nothing or something. But, I'm not the booker, so it was still a good match though.
You shouldn't care about who's booking. You should stick your opinion out there in everybody's face, make them choke on it, just like everybody else does, and say, I don't care what you think, I'm right and you're wrong. So. That's a great comeback. Nah. That's okay.
Pro wrestling is subjective.
So. It is. What have I been saying, kids, for 2 years on this channel? You kidding me? Someone gets it. Freaking Tina gets it. How come no one else can get it? Mox defeated Danielson. Oh my goodness. And I love that this wasn't a bust him in the mouth from the second the bell rang. I love that. I love that it didn't go outside the ring the second the bell rang. It wasn't a Jon Moxley match the second the bell rang. This was a Danielson match. And that must have been, I mean, just the them walking you through it from the beginning to the end. It had a plausible beginning. It had an exciting second act, and the third act of that match was great. So, I mean, to me, it told a great story all the way through. What'd you think about the ending? Was the pin a little weird for you?
I thought I thought it was odd. I thought maybe it wasn't planned or something at first. I thought, I don't think this was the planned finish. But oh well, it happened.
Right.
And then here came Regal and everybody lost their mind. So
crazy. No one saw that come. They kept that under wraps.
They did.
And then of course we know that he's going to come to the ringside now. They don't have like a team name to my knowledge, but they're working together. Oh, it's Regal's so good. And I teared up a little bit when he teared up on Dynamite, because you spend years watching these guys and you kind of feel like you're connecting a little bit. But yeah, he's come out since Dynamite happened just Wednesday and said, this is the best thing ever. I feel like I'm in a wrestling company again for the first time in years, and I could not be happier. And I'm like, I'm happy for this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and just think about how much better AEW is going to get with William Regal in everybody's ear.
Oh, big time.
I can't wait.
Yeah. How can you be upset about that? Anyone that it's XWT. First of all, I'm so sick. Someone hit me in my mentions on Twitter, I think the other night, XWE, and I'm like, that's so played out for me. Regal's XWCW, no one's talking about that. Dustin Rhodes is XWCW, no one's talking about that. Yeah. Stop. Forget it. Like, again, I've made the analogy. If you worked for Burger King for 10 years and then went to McDonald's, if people go into McDonald's say, hey, she used to work at ex Burger King person, I see who you are. No one cares. Why would anyone care? Just if they want to keep working in wrestling, let them wrestle. I don't understand.
And why would you want a brilliant mind like William Regal's to fall by the wayside just because he used to work for the other company?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. And they let you know what they thought of what they wanted from him. They showed him the door. So
yeah,
he didn't ask for his release. They showed him the door. So let the guy go be happy. I don't know. Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting. I don't care. People say, well, this shouldn't have been on the main card. Shut up. This was a fun match. And the Jeff Hardy thing, this past Wednesday, that was we knew it was coming eventually, but we can circle back to that. And then Hangman Adam Page, defeats Adam Cole. And I don't know if Ray Dean's here or not, but I think Ray's still in mourning right now that Adam Cole didn't become the champion. So what did you think about that main event? It felt like, any one of these matches could have main evented the show, but it was good to see the champ have a good match. And it felt like people were turning on Page just a little bit just because they love Cole so much. Did you get that vibe in the crowd?
They weren't turning on him because of Cole. They were turning on him because Hangman Page was doing a lot of heelish stuff there at the end. He taped Adam Cole up to the ropes. A babyface doesn't do that. And he did some other things too. I think he shoved one of the Dark Order members when they came out to try to shoo Red Dragon away. And after, did you all get Hangman? Y'all didn't get Hangman's promo at the end, did you?
No.
On camera, no. Okay. Well, he grabbed the microphone after the show was over and said, "I know I had to go to a very dark place, but this title is keeping this title is the hardest thing that I have ever had to do. So I had to do whatever I could do possible to keep it because it means everything." And I was like, that's a heel promo. So I don't know what they're doing with Hangman Page, if they're kind of teasing a heel turn with him or not. Maybe they think that his babyface title run's not going the way they think it should. I don't know.
I think that didn't Cole and Red Dragon do the exact same thing to Page in the ring? They tied him to the top rope and they laid in on him a couple weeks ago or something. And I think the thought was, let's circle back to that and say it's Cole, because on commentary, well, they did this to him and Cole's getting back at him.
Okay, and I'm thinking, well, I didn't hear the commentary and I kind of forgot about that. So
yeah, that's the problem. It didn't immediately jump out to anybody. Like, wait a minute, why would he do this?
Right.
Had an attempt been made earlier in the match to do it to Page, and it didn't work, and then Page, then maybe it would have been, oh yeah, kill this guy because he tried to do it to you. Now you do it to him. So
obviously, us in the crowd wouldn't have heard the commentary and get that reminder. So we were like, "What in the world is he doing?" So
yeah. Everyone's talking about Sting going through 3 tables. My God in heaven!
Oh my God!
Were you close to any of that?
Man.
I know, right?
They were right below us.
Really?
Yeah. So we were kind of doing this, leaning over and going, "Oh my God!
Don't get dead, Sting!" Yeah.
No, don't die.
And immediately after the show, I think he was the first guy backstage at the press conference table for the reporters, and he's fine. I'm like,
I was more worried about Isaiah Cassidy than I was Sting, because when him and Sammy Guevara climbed up on that thing on the ramp, and they were supposed to go through that table, they bounced off of that thing. It did not give at all. And they did not move for the rest of the match. Sammy barely crawled into the ring to celebrate with the other two at the end.
Man.
I was worried about them.
Yeah, they're young guys, so their bump card's not a third of the way full yet, so they got a long way to go. But yeah, no, I get you.
Isaiah wasn't moving.
They seemed okay on Dynamite. Of course, they were just standing there, but
yeah,
it can be a scary thing out there. If you've ever seen a guy get hurt in the ring in front of you, we were at a show. Gary Benefield Kids is here, HVW owner promoter. Gary, you were not here. In fact, it was in Marion, actually, Gary. And Thomas Extreme came off the top rope. No one knows who I'm talking about. It's okay. Came off top rope with a 450 and he broke his collarbone. And the minute he hit the mat, we're behind the curtain and we went, oh God, he's hurt. And just like that, we all knew it. So we had like 5 guys rush out there, broke his collarbone that night. You can just tell. And it's scary because you don't want to see anybody get hurt, obviously. So
yeah. I was at an indie show one time and someone went through a table right in front of me and broke their arm. So probably 5 feet away from me. It was ugly. So
yeah, it happens. It's the old, what's the time honored saying? If this ain't ballet. So there you go.
Well, ballet's not easy either, but
That's a great comeback. You're nailing the comebacks today. Well, you think that, pal? Let me tell you something about ballet, buddy.
They break stuff too.
Don't be surprised if you're doing one of those spin things and someone comes out there with a chair. I'm just saying. No. But wouldn't that make it fun to watch? There's your Revolution card, kids. Fun times to be had. And if you haven't watched it, go back and check out the replay. It's absolutely worth your time for sure. We alluded to this, not alluded to, we flat out said it. Chris Jericho's heel turn this past Wednesday. Did it work for you? Did it not work for you? People are talking about the Inner Circle. And I'm like, shut up. They were fun. And then Hager joins him. At first, he doesn't know whether to join him or not. I'll give you a chance to answer, but here's one more thing. Sammy Guevara comes out for the main event with the Inner Circle vest on and doesn't even acknowledge the fact that his team is divided and over. So, like, how do you piece all this together?
I think Sammy Guevara is just wrapped up in Ty Conti right now, so he doesn't care.
Yeah. I agree with that. You made a funny, didn't even know it. So yeah, I love Chris. I do. And I don't love some of Chris's weird views. And I'll leave it there. Okay. But as the character and the guy in the ring, the veteran, I love him. He's in phenomenal shape. Looks great.
He looks great.
And that crowd on Saturday night, you guys loved him. Like,
no.
Shut up.
I didn't.
Yes, you did. You love him.
Not that night, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You've got a Chris Jericho shirt right now.
I do have a Chris Jericho shirt, but I did not wear it that night. And I booed him, and I did not sing Judas. I couldn't do it.
You got to sing Judas at the freaking show, man. It's part of the deal.
Not when he's fighting Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston above everybody.
All I know is I never saw dudes in the crowd singing Real American when Hogan came out. I'm just saying. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of hated to see Inner Circle fall apart. If I'm being real,
I was too, because I really liked that group. They were a lot of fun.
And now it feels like this is all about him, the Jericho appreciation. So I guess that's the gimmick, though. It's all about him now, right?
Well, he's a heel, so of course it's all about him.
It's a good answer. When I saw Chris walk down the ramp with his hair, the way it looked, the way he was, I knew something was up. Carlos knew by the hair. He's like, you see that guy's hair? I knew it was up to no good. He had that hair, and that hair said something to me. It said, look out, stuff's about to go down. Larry says, I wish I'm going to leave it there and not come back to it. Brother, I'm with you. So, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I love 2.0. And if the only 2.0 that you guys know are from TV, you need to watch Being the Elite because they are hysterical. They're hysterical. Do you ever catch Being the Elite?
Not a whole lot, just here and there.
Hysterical. They're so funny. And like, it's hard to keep a straight face with them. But I love they're going to get TV time. And I love they're getting it with Chris because they make sense with him. And Daniel Garcia, people praise Daniel Garcia as if he is the next Danielson. And I'm like, no disrespect to this guy. I'm a little sick of hearing about, oh, he's the next whatever. He needs personality, in my opinion. He needs something.
Exactly.
Right? But maybe now he'll get that something standing next to Jericho. So if this works, right, I love it. You know what I mean? And that's not me throwing shade on Garcia at all. I'm just saying from my perspective, I'm like, God, I'm so tired of hearing this. Just give him something, you know? Yeah, there's your card, kids. And as we say, Jericho's heel turn, we'll see how it goes. We talked about Jeff Hardy's debut, and everybody's making a big deal about how his brother's getting stomped, and he's got to do this down the ramp. Like, don't dance, Jeff. They're killing your brother, Jeff. They just kicked him in the face, Jeff. Why are you dancing? Like,
he got down there faster than Sting and Darby did.
And which makes me wonder if you hear music you don't recognize, and everyone knows the Hardy Boys music, wouldn't you have stopped kicking Matt in the face and go, holy crap, it's Jeff Hardy? But no one stopped. That would have gave Hardy a chance to stand there, do a little dance, and then come down to the ring with a chair in his hand instead of by himself. Like, this is me critiquing way too much.
Well,
What did you think about?
Why didn't he run down there, help them clear the ring, and then do his dance when they played his music afterwards? It would have
We're
made more
critiquing.
sense.
We're critiquing a man dancing. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's what's the world come to? I'll tell you something about that dance. It shouldn't have happened then. It should have happened then. Yeah. I don't know. I heard someone this week say, well, that's the WWE and Jeff. He's still got the mindset of you got to hit your signature thing when you hit the ramp, because they're all told that in that company. That's why every time the women come
Probably.
out in WWE, every woman in that company has to come out and do their thing. It's a spin or it's this. Every single woman they sign, they say, all right, girls, huddle up. You hit that ramp, you better do your thing. And I'm like, oh my God, stop. I get it. Like you had a signature. So maybe that's what he was thinking. I got to do this Jeff Hardy dance thing. So that's just me
Oh,
critiquing something funny.
speaking of entrances, what did you think of CM Punk's Ring of Honor entrance?
It's
controversy over it. Like, get over yourselves, people. But
it's a nation divided with the Punk entrance. Phil and I, again, last night off mic discussed this, and I said, when he was in ROH didn't have a streaming service, and I'm in North Carolina. ROH wasn't on TV here, so I didn't go out of my way to buy DVDs online, and YouTube wasn't massive at that time either. So like I knew very little Ring of Honor, so I didn't know the song. However, when it came out with the gear, I said, that's old Ring of Honor gear. This must be an old Ring of Honor song. And I said, sweet. He probably asked for this and they gave it to him. Good for him. And the next day, whoa, how come? And I'm like, what? You know, what's your take on it?
Well, I didn't know what it was either, for the same reasons as you. Plus, I think when he was in Ring of Honor, I wasn't watching wrestling on TV at all at the time. So I had no idea what it was. But when he came out there, I just put two and two together and was like, I bet that's his old Ring of Honor entrance, because they just purchased the company and the tapes and everything. And there he wanted to, and his Ring of Honor stuff was in the MJF storyline too. So it made a whole lot of sense. Just because somebody doesn't exactly know everything doesn't mean that they don't get it. I mean,
right. And Punk's tweet, he apologized. He deleted it, I think, and he's since apologized for what he said.
I didn't see his tweet.
I didn't bother looking it up. I don't care. The thing, one of the things that turned him sour against the other guys was that they tried to control everything he said. They would send him messages and tell him, you need to delete that tweet because you said the S word. And he's like, what? You want me to delete the tweet because I put the word that, in there? What? So he did it. And I'm like, don't ever try to control this guy, because you're eventually going to start adding some resentment there. So I'm glad AEW doesn't try to control him. And I'm sure he deleted it of his own accord. These guys are people too, kids. I mean, they say things maybe in the heat of the moment or because they're getting tired of hearing you talk. I don't know. I'm not defending him. I guess maybe I am, but people make much ado about nothing, in my opinion.
It's a silly thing to get all wrapped up about.
I agree. Totally. I totally agree. This kind of flew under the radar for the whole show, but I tweeted this out and it's still getting hits as we speak, which is crazy. But I said something to the effect of that Scorpio Sky won his first singles title in that company on a show that included Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Swerve Scott, Keith Lee, and he was in the main event. If that doesn't tell you what they think of Sky and the fact that they gave this, not gave, but because I put at the end of the tweet that he earned this, I think he's totally earned it. I love the fact that he won this title. I love the fact he kind of slid in the back door with this title and nobody saw it coming. No. I'm all about this. What do you think about Scorpio Sky? I think it adds a new twist to the whole TNT title picture.
I think it adds a breath of fresh air, because we've been getting kind of the same thing, other than Miro and Brody Lee. Besides those two, it was kind of the same type of thing. the smaller type guy has the TNT title, and he's, going off with it, I guess. And I know Scorpio Sky is kind of like smaller too, but it's a different dynamic with Scorpio Sky. It's different to me, and I think that they need to move a little bit away from the 4 pillars with the TNT title too. Move away from that and give somebody else a chance with that title too, besides just Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin having it all the time. So yeah.
And we'll see if you agree with my take. I don't believe they have enough titles. I think they need another set of tag belts, and I think they need another singles championship for the men. That's what I think. What's your take on that?
They have a whole lot of tag teams right now, and especially, I hate to say this, okay, and I'm probably going to get a lot of heat. And I like the Young Bucks, don't get me wrong, but they kind of like to hog the tag team spotlight a little bit.
Uh-oh.
And
they're coming for you.
They don't have to be in the spotlight in the tag team division all the time. Okay? So I think another set of tag titles or something would be beneficial for maybe some of those other teams that are really good, and not just really good, but the crowd seems to really like and want to see more. Santana and Ortiz need a good title run. I really like the Acclaim too, and tag teams like that are getting a lot of attention and building themselves up really well. I think that they deserve a good spotlight. So,
Chris, with the comment that I think we all believe is coming, Trios Championships, which Tony Khan has flat out said that he's saving for Kenny by God Omega. So I would love it because the other guys don't do it. You know what I mean? Hit me. What you got?
I guess I guess it makes sense if you have to put it on someone that everybody recognizes at first and then kind of move into the next phase. Kind of like what they did with Jericho in the world title, but it's kind of the same thing. It doesn't have to evolve around Omega and the Young Bucks 24/7 all the time is my point.
I see the frustration. Kids, send your hate mail to tina@peachesandpowerbombs.com. So there you go. Keith, I disagree, my friend. I don't see Wardlow squashing anybody next Wednesday. Nope. I think MJF is going to cost Wardlow the match. There has to be a payback here. MJF's not the kind of heel you get one up on and then you just walk away from it. There will be a day of reckoning, and it's coming. Shannon echoes your sentiments earlier. Santana and Ortiz are long overdue for a title run. Yes, sir, Gary. We're talking about the Trios Championships. I think they're coming. And good for them. I think they've got plenty of factions that could compete for the 6-man titles right now. Mm-hmm. So, Cherie, I don't have this in the banners section, so we'll touch on it. What you think about it? Out of the blue? It almost felt like, hey, Tully can't be here anymore. And we're going to do something different. Could you guys just fire him tonight? And they're like, okay, cool. Like it just seemed to come from out of nowhere, didn't it? Did that knock you for a loop? Yes.
It was random.
Very weird. I don't know where they're going with that. And everybody on Twitter was like, wait, did they just fire him? Like, oh, that's good stuff. Now, had this been building for a while and him warning them and getting their face and saying, you better start listening to me or those belts are never coming back to you. And then 3 weeks later it happened, I could maybe see that. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about Rampage tonight, kids. Rampage tonight, it's taped. If you reveal results, you get kicked the F out. Boo. So don't get kicked out. Don't get kicked out. No one likes people who spoil stuff. Don't spoil nothing. That's my Lewis Black. Like that. So if you don't know him, look him up. Darby Allin versus Mark Quinn. Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Martinez. Keith Lee versus QT Marshall. Swerve Strickland versus Tony Nese. Please tell me you know Swerve. And I know we know him from NXT. I'm so happy for this guy. He's starting the next chapter. I love his stuff. I am distraught that he's no longer going to come out to Shaka Khan, and he's retired the song, which is beyond upsetting to me because, in my opinion, Strickland's AEW World Champion in, I'm not going to say in no time, but he's got everything it takes to be world champion. What do you think about Strickland coming in? Do you know a lot about him outside of NXT or no?
I don't know a whole lot about him, but I do know that he has a whole lot of talent, and I hope that they do something with him and that he's not hiding away on Dark in a month. That's what I'm scared about.
Ooh, good call. Good call. That's a reasonable take to have. And I don't think the other company's the only people you can have that take on. So I totally understand that. And I'm with you. I that's another tweet of mine that's still blowing up as we speak, is that I said he was the future world champion. And a lot of people love that. And we've talked a lot about diversity here on the program, about, I know, kids, I keep going back to certain other companies, but you make two guys members of the New Day and you have them both destroyed by Brock Lesnar. What? I mean, the optics of let's have the big white dude squash. Come on. What are we doing? Don't you see how bad this looks? Like, but meanwhile, you have AEW, who's more, in my opinion, diverse and more embracing. And it's like, well, yeah, Tom, but there's a black man is not world champion. So they're supposed to put it on Powerhouse Hobbs. No disrespect to Hobbs. He's not close to ready. But right now, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, in my opinion, right now, like, yeah, I don't know. And they just put the TNT title on Scorpio. I think they're doing more right now for black wrestlers. To me, this is coming from the white guy in the room, right? But I think they're doing more for them than a lot of other companies are. I think it's important, if someone's talented, put them in the good spot.
Right.
I don't know. We lose too much sleep over, well, so-and-so can't do. Don't tell me you can't. Like Punk said years ago, how can I get better? How can I prove myself if you won't let me prove myself? It doesn't make any sense. So I know you were at the AEW show Sunday, but Saturday night, I rolled the dice because I was told by a couple, 2 or 3 people, hey, Tom, TNA or Impact Wrestling sacrifice. I said, you know what? It's $10. I'll spend the $10. This was a really good show. Did you hear about any results? Do you care much about Impact or no?
I don't watch a whole lot of it. I know a lot of people in my circle was watching it, but honestly, I was a little overstimulated from my meet and greet with Eddie, and I was going viral on Twitter at the time as well. So I turned off my cell phone and just relaxed and had a good time with my parents Saturday evening. So
it's all good. If you got $10 to throw at something, it's on Fight TV. I would say throw $10 at it. It's a really good show. So I'll
check it out. Absolutely.
I'm going to take back a lot of stuff I've said that may have been perceived as negative. I'm going to start giving Impact Wrestling a shot here because they sold me with this show. I thought it was really, really good. So if anybody's not seen it, go out of your way to watch it. It's really good. In my opinion, of course. We'll go down the card real quick here. On the main show, Rich Swann and Willie Mack defeated Honor No More in a tag team match. Trey Miguel defeated Jake Something. This Jake Something guy, first of all, was carved out of stone. Him and this guy, Trey Miguel, killed it. They killed it. It is such a good match. Eddie Edwards defeated Rhino. Rhino's still going, kids. The influence dethroned the Inspiration to become the Knockouts Tag Team Champions. Jonah defeated PCO. Jonah and PCO killed each other. PCO's, got a death wish. He makes Mick Foley look like, look like an angel. I don't know. It's PCO's out to kill himself killed. Jay White and Alex Shelley had to put on a clinic. It was an excellent match. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Chelsea Green. Excellent match to retain the RH Women's World Championship. Tasha Steelz beat Mickie James and became the Knockouts World Champion. Violent by Design defeated the Good Brothers in tag team match for the Impact World Tag Team Championships, new champs. And then Moose retained against Heath in the main event. There's your card, kids. And I just ruined the whole show, Tina. My apologies.
That's okay.
I told you to watch it. And she's sitting there going, I'm not going to watch it now, you friggin' idiot. You ruined the whole thing. Let's talk numbers and we'll get to other companies real quick. This week's Dynamite, 945, getting a lot of heat for that because they're like, see, whatever. Down from 966 last week. Rampage yet to happen. Last week was 545. As we always say on the main event, there's your numbers. You decide whether or not you care. Let's switch to another company before we take this show home. I've gotten Phil's take. I've gotten other people's take. What is your take on a certain Texas rattlesnake? Because that company's like, oh, we're out of guys and we don't do anything with people we have because we're dumb. Oh, can we get the Austin guy? What's your take on all this?
I understand what they're doing because they have to fill up that arena, right? And what better way to do it than to bring in the most popular guy in wrestling ever, who is Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I understand what they're doing, but on the other hand, do you not know how to build up your own people anymore, that you have to keep relying? There's going to come a time when Stone Cold is not going to be available, when Brock Lesnar is going to be too old to wrestle, when Goldberg can't show up, there's going to be these times when you cannot rely on that nostalgia. And what are you going to have? Nothing. So you have to build the people up in order to get to that point where these guys used to be. They won't do it.
I mean, how did those guys get there? Because you gave them a chance. I don't get it.
What? And last year at WrestleMania when they were delayed because of the weather? Was that last year? And everyone had to cut their own promos. They did amazing. They did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. And the ones that didn't, it's obvious. Yeah. Because McIntyre is going to be fine. Guys like that, Owen's going to be fine. Because they were wrestlers before they got to that company. They're going back to fitness models. They're going back to athletes from other sports. They're going straight to colleges. They're this girl in NXT that wears pajamas in the ring. What are we doing? What is this? I mean, NXT 2.0 for me personally is impossible to watch now. I can't. I love Ciampa, always will. I don't know what we're doing. It's they're making a kids show on 2.0 now. It's a kids cartoon. I mean, if that's what you want, listen. If that's what you want, go with God, brother. Enjoy your life. I personally don't care about kids wrestling, kids cartoon wrestling. I just don't. It's not for me. It's not for me. So, Austin. What? I'm just saying.
Place where that is acceptable.
Yeah. Thank you.
Definitely not during a Eddie Kingston promo.
God almighty. We heard that. I was like, what are y'all doing? You friggin' idiots. E says if Owens wanted to be more heat, he should have talked about Eddie Guerrero and Undertaker being from Texas. Yeah, why not? But E, to your point, if you mention Taker's name, you're calling Taker out, and they don't want to do that. So I get why they didn't. So there you go. We'll see what happens. What's your take on the overall on the WrestleMania 38 card? Do you have a take on it? Are you going to get the show and watch it? I mean, what are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to watch it because we have to cover it on Peaches and Powerbombs. But as far as being invested and excited about the show, not really. I mean, I'm excited about Edge and AJ Styles, but that's about it. And I'm a Brock Lesnar girl, so I'll always be excited about seeing him. But other than that, not really.
And the rumor still abounds that it's going to be Cody and Seth, and they're trying to figure out a way to do it. And I said I wasn't going to rant many more times, but I haven't had you on the show in a spell, as we say down south. But I'll get your take on this. It seems like everyone on this planet, and perhaps on other planets as well, kind of knows, hey, Cody, don't go, Cody. But it seems like Cody's the only one that doesn't know, hey, Cody. I mean, what what do we think? What does he think? And what's gonna be different? Do we really believe that Cody Rhodes is gonna get, hey pal, here's the belt, and here's the other belt, and pin Roman like 4 times in the same night and humiliate him and cut his hair and throw tar on him, and you're the guy now? What?
No.
I'm not feeling this, and I wish nothing but the best for Cody. But I don't know what we all think is gonna be different this time. What do we think? What
It's
do you
not
think is gonna be
going to
different?
be. It's going to be worse. They're going to humiliate Cody Rhodes if he goes back there.
Because they can.
And to me, it doesn't make any sense at all for him to go back, especially when I met him a couple years ago, right before the first Double or Nothing. And he was so excited about AEW. He was like, he was asking me how long I had been a wrestling fan and everything. And I was like, I don't know, 29 years. And he was like, well, AEW is going to be for people like you who have loved wrestling their whole lives and don't like the direction it's going in now. And AEW is going to be for you. And he was, just so excited about being able to create a company where people can perform and wrestle the matches that they want to wrestle and be the characters that they want to be. And he goes crawling back to that. I mean, if he is, because no one really knows at this point. I don't know. He's not stupid, so he's not a stupid person. I don't know.
CRP says if he is getting paid what he is asking, I doubt he will get humiliated. I am starting to think it's a work, and a relaunch of ROH would be one of the craziest works of all time. I'd pay money for that, but everyone is saying it's not a work, that he's. And Chris, you're right. If the guy gets paid, good for him. I want to see him get paid. He needs to make off with whatever they offer him. He needs $1 more than that. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's the top offer. Cool. Give me $1 more. Because, and let him bank it. And good for him. Good for his family. I'm never against a guy getting a payday. I don't care what anyone says. Well, Goldberg came. Shut up. Who cares? Let him come back. I agree with what you said, Tina, that at some point, but it's not on him that they don't build their talents. His phone rings and he answers it. I would answer it too if I wanted to. I mean, so Cody, pay the man. But again, I just don't understand. For years, people said, Tom, Punk, go back to WWE. I said, no chance. Why, Tom? They fired him on his wedding day via FedEx in the mail. In the mail. Here you go, pal. They wouldn't answer his texts. They wouldn't return his calls or his voicemails or anything for months. And then they fired him via FedEx on his wedding day. Okay.
Yep.
How? So for Cody's case, they kept Dusty's name from you out of spite. Yeah. They kept Rhodes, the name that your father earned with blood, sweat, and tears. And he carved his arm up, carved his forehead up. And they kept that name from you even after he passed away. I'm very passionate about that. And these are who you go back to? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it. Shane says, Tom, what would the backlash be on Cody from the fans if he goes to WWE? WWE fans will be fine because they're not AEW fans. I don't care what anyone says. They're not. They'll reference Cody from being there before. They'll talk about Stardust. They'll talk a lot about his dad. They're not going to mention AEW. Those fans are going to go, oh, Cody's back. I just don't think it's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be anything other than that. I just don't think it will be. Maybe I'll be dead wrong. One more thing before we hit SmackDown preview. Dolph Ziggler is your new NXT champion. I don't know why. Tina doesn't know why either. If she does, she's not going to tell you. I don't get it. I'm not going to talk much because, as I say, I don't watch this program. Maybe it would make perfect sense if I did watch the program. However, I do not. But I felt it necessitated a banner. There's the banner. You have any comments?
Yeah, they're probably trying to get some of the people that watch Raw and SmackDown trickle over to NXT to see what Dolph Ziggler is up to, and he's the new champion over there. Because they know who he is. They don't know who Braun Breaker is yet, so.
We'll take that.
Plus, they desperately wanted Braun Breaker on the main roster too, so they had to get him over there.
Him with that neon singlet. Gotta make the singlet happen. We can't talk about who his daddy is. We sure can't talk about his uncle. We can't. We can use the word gremlin and dog face and have him do the moves, but we can't tell you because of reasons. I don't know. SmackDown preview, because everybody's asking, huh? Big E and Kofi want payback against Sheamus and Ridge Holland. And Sasha Banks and Naomi to clash with Queen Zelina and Carmella. That's it. Enjoy the show.
Ooh.
Hey. Excitement.
Riveting. Riveting.
Nail biting. Seat of your pants. Edge of your seat of your pants. Where'd that come from? Edge of your seat. I'll get it. This week, Raw, 1.78 million. Barely this, like the same thing as last week, 1.75. NXT, 545. Down just a scoosh. SmackDown, we don't know. Judging from that preview, 5 million. Easy. Last week was 2.26. You know what this means, kids? After this, we open the floor. Now it's time to throw your hate Tina's way for controversy that she unleashed on this show. Send your hate Tina's way. She's ready. She's tough. She's got a strong chin. Yeah, see, I love your attitude. She's got a strong chin. Bring it to her. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. Eric says, great show today, Tom. I know. I got somebody here with me. Quit telling me I can't do stuff on my own. It's not cool. Became a fan of Tina also. On talk anytime.
You.
See, you were well loved.
I don't boot anybody off unless they hate Eddie Kingston. Then you gotta leave.
You can get out, pal. Chris says because Braun Breaker is going to the main roster and he's wrestling live events this weekend. Well, yeah, of course. Yep. Okay. Alma says heard Sid Vicious going to WWE Hall of Fame. And then the rumors of Scott Steiner going, you want those two guys on the same show conducting an acceptance speech? Oh, my God. That would be something to hear. Victor says, so when Braun wins the belt back off of Ziggler at the pay-per-view, it will be seen by more people and make a name for himself. I'll go with that. Why not? I don't care either way. He says Vader, and Vader's going in the Hall of Fame. It was confirmed this week. In fact, it was confirmed by a friend of the show, Dr. Chris Mueller from Bleacher Report. Chris has appeared on the 6M, and it was confirmed by him. So when WWE says, as confirmed by Bleacher Report, Chris is the one who revealed the news. So there you go. Timothy said, oh, hold on, I'm about to lose you. Timothy says, college basketball tournament is more entertaining than watching WWE. Well,
my Indiana Hoosiers played Michigan the other day, and they came back from a 17-point. They were behind by 17 points. Came back and beat them. So I was really excited.
I see you get all kinds of information here. See that? Yeah, we got your hookup. Holler if you hear me. Anybody? Okay. Shane said, Tina, if you could book Eddie Kingston any match, who would he face, and what match would that be? I love the world famous Shrill Watch Peaches and Power Bombs, please.
Yeah, I posted my reaction of Eddie winning the match, and I was screaming like a banshee. So that's what the world famous Shrill is.
That's good.
Honestly, I want to see Eddie versus MJF just because they've been flirting something on Twitter for probably about 2 years now. And I think the back and forth between those two would just be absolute gold. And that's actually who I would like to see Eddie eventually win the world title off of is MJF. I think it would be monstrous because Eddie right now is the ultimate babyface and MJF is the ultimate heel. So that story just writes itself.
I couldn't agree more. He says Vader was underrated. I disagree, my friend. I think Vader got his props while he was here. I believe he did. He certainly did in his retirement years. A lot of guys were giving him his props. It's a shame that company wouldn't do it. When they knew his health was bad, I'm ranting again, I don't care. They knew his health was bad. They had an opportunity to put him in that year, and they wouldn't do it. Okay? Sorry, it's how I feel. Should have done the right thing. Now you're going to put him in? Really? Now? Okay, fine, whatever. Larry says, I'm a Michigan fan. That broke my heart.
Go Hoosiers.
That's good. Let's see.
Sorry.
I told you she is controversial. You wouldn't look at her. Everyone get a look at her. You wouldn't think she's controversial. She's got that sweet, innocent, good old-fashioned all-American girl. Behind those glasses lurks the eyes of a beast, okay?
A troll.
A heart of a troll.
Yes.
She used to hang out under the bridge, but now she hangs out online.
Yep.
Oh, here we go, Tina. Question
Oh,
for you. Who's your
man.
top 5 AEW wrestlers right now? Women's and champions are included, by the way. I'll be there live on Dynamite Rampage next week. So your top 5 AEW wrestlers right now, women's and men included.
Eddie Kingston. I can't just say Eddie Kingston, can I? Okay, Eddie Kingston. MJF. CM Punk.
It's hard.
It is hard.
That's 3.
Darby Allin
Ooh.
and Serena Deeb.
Ooh, good 5. Really good 5. Let's see. Shane says, Tom's still waiting on that Dusty Rhodes 6M podcast. Oh, my God. I got to do that. What video game would you like to see made into a movie? Red Dead Redemption. I don't know. I think a GTA movie would be fun. I don't know how they would do it, but I think that would be fun. Jamie says you look like the girl next door.
Is that a compliment or an insult? Depends on who you ask, I guess.
The fact that you could take it as an insult means there's something evil going on behind those glasses, because it sounds like a compliment to me. Wait a minute. What do you mean by that? When you said I was sweet, what is that supposed to mean?
I'm just kidding. I like to give people a hard time.
Robbie says, Tom, if there was any wrestling legends autobiography that would come out, whose do you think would be the one to read or the most revealing? At this point, Robbie, I don't know of anything that we don't already know. And the stuff that we don't know, do we care to know it? Would it matter to us? Anything done about Vince is going to cover up the stuff that you would like to know anyway, because they're going to perceive him as a god, as do a lot of people walking around. And you know who you are. So I don't know if I've got a good question or a good answer for that. And I know that's a cop-out, but I don't know. What about you? Is there one that you're like, this could blow the lid off?
I don't know as far as that's concerned, because a lot of people that I would be interested to hearing on deeper subjects has already either written something or they've come out on podcasts and talked about it. So I don't know. John Moxley's autobiography was amazing.
I've not, it was a Christmas gift. I've not finished it yet. So I got to get into it.
He has a whole chapter on sandwiches.
Of course he does.
It's great.
Oh my God. Gary just mentioned them boys, and then Chris brought this up. If you don't know the Terry Funk ain't wearing no mouthpiece, you got to go look it up. This was the promo they cut when they had an NXT tryout, and they were told by Laurinaitis that they weren't cosmetically pleasing enough. It's good stuff. I personally can't wait to see them boys on live TV where they go, hey, Jay, here's a microphone, Jay. Everyone stand back. Because I love Eddie too. But the idea of Jay and Eddie cutting a promo on each other is, I mean, I could pass out from how awesome it is. Like, we found Tom on the floor passed out because it was awesome.
So I didn't really know too much about them. And then I came on here with you back in November, and I had to go look them up. And I started following them on Facebook. And I still haven't seen any of their matches, but I am so invested in them. And I'm like, oh my God, when are they going to wrestle FTR already? I'm so looking forward to this.
Here's what you need to know about their matches. Him and Mark, this is them.
Yeah.
Every match. And it doesn't matter who they're working. They're just like this. They don't talk to each other. They don't have to. They're smooth. And you look at them and go, these guys, they're smooth as silk. Like they hit all their signatures, but they can adjust on the fly as well. They're so good. Like, I think they're one of the best this generation has, in my opinion. They're that good. they had a promo years ago where they're in the barn, of course, they're in this big silo, and their dad, I think they call their dad Big Hoss. It's their dad or their uncle or somebody. And it's in a flatbed truck, and he's sitting there, and Mark's in the background with a pitchfork or something. And Jay walks in from out of frame with that wild look in his eyes, and he walked into frame. And I thought, that guy's a star. There's just something about Jay that you can't stop watching Jay. Mark's hilarious. But when Jay starts and he's in the camera, and look, full transparency, Jay has said some bad stuff in the past that he's apologized for, just to be transparent. But you look in Jay's eyes, man, he's a star. And I'm telling you, when they get on AEW TV, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're about to take this thing home, kids. We've had Tina here all day. So let's have a couple more good ones. We're going to get out of here. Jamie says, which women's division do you feel speaks the best for women in general? Great question, Jamie. What you got?
I think both. I'm guessing he's talking about WWE and AEW. I
guess any division
have more work to be done. I heard a lot of good things about Impact's women division, so I need to check them out a little bit more. But AEW is doing better, but they need to step their game up as far as their women's division.
And you know, things are what they are in Japan, but I know that New Japan is working with what's the word? I always get the names confused, either Stardom or Shimmer, so I don't want to get the names wrong. Someone remind me. Sugar Shane, you're my Japanese guy here also, so someone hit me with that. CRP, who you got? It's either Shimmer or Stardom, and I always get them backwards. So they've been working with them. Stardom, thank you, Chris. I did not see Kairi Sane's last match, but I heard it's great. So yeah, you know, things being the way they are in Japan, they're backwards on some stuff. So that New Japan doesn't have a women's division. If they did, dude, because they do so many things right now, to be honest. So, yeah, that's a tough question. Let's get one more. Make it a Tina-centric question, kids. Let's be nice to our guest today. Someone hit me with something good. I miss Ray. Someone send Ray a message, make sure he's okay. Let's send a search party to find Ray Dean. It's the first show he's missed in a year. This is crazy. I might have to message him, make sure he's okay. And I'm not even making that up.
Oh, one real quick thing that I know I rip on AEW's women's division a whole lot, and they do have a lot of work to do, but I will say this. Britt Baker was the only person to sell out their meet and greets at FanFest last Saturday.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
So they're doing something right.
Yeah. And I was nodding my head a bunch when you talked about the FanFest, and then I didn't circle back to it. We did the FanFest all out last year, and it was a joke. It's a joke. Yeah. It was horrible. Yet we came up to the door. We didn't even know we were at the right place. On a handwritten big piece of construction paper, AEW FanFest, like with a marker. I'm like, this is it? You get in there, and they had pre-sold all the meet and greets. And every table said, sold out, sold out, sold out. And I'm like, so I can't even shake someone's hand in here? Okay. And then like they did the stage with like, and in order to sit down, you had to have pre-bought the seat to sit down. And then from a distance, they've got the sound system and everything's, and I'm like, can you hear them? I can't hear them either. And it was, we were there 10 minutes and left. It was horrible. They had no merch to sell. There was nothing going on. I'm like, I can't believe we paid for this. Or I didn't necessarily specifically pay for it myself, but it was paid for. And it was nothing. They need to get a handle on the logistical side of things, which to your point, it sounds like they still don't have a handle on it yet.
No, it was a fiasco.
Oh my God. Shane said, Tina, if you could put Sarah in a match, what would it be? Holy Lord. Shout out to Sarah, by the way. She'll love this one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sabu. Abdullah the Butcher.
I don't know. I don't know if I would want to put her in a match.
Oh my God.
Go to Christopher's question. I can answer that one a little bit easier.
All right. See. Tina, favorite tag team of all time or top 3?
Okay, the Dudley Boys, the Steiner Brothers, and FTR.
That was quick. Wow, really?
Yeah.
Man. That's good. That's good. E is asking for the button. What song is it you want to hear? Hold on, I'll find it. All right, E, this is for you, baby. Even though you give me grief all the time when you show up, this is for you. You can kiss my grin! If you don't like Cameron Grimes, there's something wrong with you. I'm just saying. And because he's not here, and someone go message Ray, I'm not making this up. Make sure he's okay. Ray, in the spirit of Ray Dean, this is for you, my friend. There you go. Got to hit that for Ray. Well, kids, we're going to take this thing home. I got a weekend to get to. I don't know what y'all are doing, but I have a life outside of this wrestling crap. I'm just kidding. I really don't. This is all I got going for me. This is about it. This and a couple other little things, and I got a kid and a wife. That's about it. Everything else, far second, third, fourth, and fifth. I'm just saying. So I really don't have anything else going on. Let's close the floor back up. Don't ask any more questions. You had a chance. You lost it. Okay? It's over now. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in as always. Tina, before we get out of here, please tell the good kids out here, again, where they can find you and Sarah both and where they can find the show.
Okay, so go follow Peaches and Powerbombs on Facebook and YouTube. We're also on Instagram and Twitter, so you can follow us over there. And I also have my own podcast on the Real Wrestling Community's Facebook page called The Tailgate Party, and that's every Wednesday at 5 o'clock and every Friday evening at 6. So go check me out on the Real Wrestling Community's Facebook page as well.
Nice, nice. I didn't realize you were. Did I know you were doing 2? I don't think I knew that. That's cool. You're welcome for getting you hooked. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
You sure did.
I'm just saying, once you get people hooked, it's like a drug, man. You're like, how'd you like it? Oh, it was fun. Can we do another show now? When do we get to do another one? It's kind of how podcasting is.
Right. It's a lot of fun, especially when it's live and you get to communicate with everybody that's watching. So
it's the best part, hooking up with people and people watching from all over the world that you'll probably never meet. And like, we've got people here. It's crazy.
I almost forgot. Last week before Revolution, me and Sarah had the opportunity to interview the first openly gay world champion, AC Mack, on Peaches and Powerbombs. So go onto our YouTube channel and check out that interview. It was a great conversation.
Nice. Hey, you put that link up and share it to my Facebook page. Tag me in it or something, and I'll put it out there for you too. That's cool.
Okay.
That's very cool. Inclusion, kids. It's, we always talk about, doing the right thing and accepting people for who they are, not for who you'd like them to be. And part of that conversation is if you don't like who they are, it's none of your business. So there you go. We believe in that. So there you go. I'm so glad to hear you saying things like that. It makes me, not that I thought you were anything else. I'm just saying. That's very cool. It's like, have you bumped into someone that you thought was a certain way and then they say something in your head, you're going, oh crap, he's not like what I thought he was going to be. Like, oh my God, that's happened to me a bunch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have to go into specifics. It's fine.
Nah.
We don't have to share. All right, Tina, I'm going to take you off screen, but don't go anywhere. Everybody, please thank Tina. Tina, thank you as always for hanging out with us here on the show.
See y'all. Thank you.
All right, Tina Miller, kids, please go check out Peaches and Powerbombs. Her and Sarah Hirsch, they're doing the Lord's work over there, kids. So please go check them out. It would be greatly appreciated. I get a kickback off everything they do. I'm the godfather up in here, baby. I give people their start, and I don't ask much, 16% off the top. That's all. That's not much, is it? Right, it's not. I knew you'd agree. So there you go. Everybody have a great weekend. Watch yourself some pro wrestling this weekend. Go watch The Batman, because I haven't yet. But I hear it's awesome. I may go do it. It's money. I don't know. Can anyone spot me a 20? Anyone? Because I'd like to go, but as I said, this pro wrestling stuff doesn't pay a lot. So if anyone could spot me a 20 or a 40, perhaps. Spot me a 40, I can get a popcorn too. I'm just saying. Send Tom to the movie fund. The link will be up. in short order. That's all we got for you, kids. We'll see everybody next week. Everybody have a great weekend. We appreciate you as always, okay? Thanks as always, kids. We'll see you next time. Tom Clark's Main Event.